The children of today are the protagonists who will shape the societies of the future. How our children are raised to become informed citizens, decision makers, and leaders in a multicultural, multi-ethnic, and multilingual society and respond to global challenges will determine whether the world is nurturing, cohesive, and progressive, or inhospitable, divided, and unsustainable. Prior to the adoption of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child in 1989, children were invariably seen as dependent on adults for material assistance and protection, and treated as powerless, voiceless, and invisible. Under the Convention, children, adolescents, and the very young were recognized for the first time as subjects of rights under international law, regardless of place of birth. The Convention signaled the beginning of a new era. The Convention and its 3 additional protocols recognized the principle of evolving capacities. The concept of evolving capacities transforms how we view, enable, and empower children's agencies in the realization of their rights. The Convention promotes a model of parent-child relationship that departs from the historical concepts that framed parenthood in terms of ownership over the child. Instead, it introduces a concept of parenthood which should be understood as a form of stewardship or trusteeship that perceives children not as objects to be controlled or subjugated, but as individuals with rights and entitlements, the realization of which is dependent on the assistance of adults. This positive and enabling approach supports the maturation, autonomy, and self-expression of children. Through this process, children progressively acquire knowledge, competencies, and understanding, including about their rights and how they can contribute toward personal and social development. The Convention is the cornerstone instrument that recognizes children as agents of change. Today, children, defined as anyone under the age of 18, benefit from institutional recognition. They are recognized for their noble efforts in making their voice heard for the betterment of humanity. Democracy is not just about extending voting rights. It involves enabling individuals to participate in those decisions that affect their lives. It follows. The practice of consultation with children should start at an early age to empower the young to articulate their thoughts coherently in the decision-making process, to foster strength and courage to overcome oppression and injustice, and as an avenue to address the unaccountable exercise of power and dominance over others. It is by learning to question, to express views, and to have them taken seriously that children develop the capacity for constructive dialogue and action, and garner belief in themselves as agents of change. It is the spark of ideas that inspire new ways of thinking and acting, conducive for the development of new structures necessary for the ever-evolving civilization. A democratic family life nurtures in children a sense of collective responsibility and a desire to build a unified community based on shared values and on reciprocal esteem. This is the hallmark of a just, inclusive, and maturing civilization. Without galvanizing and eliciting the input of all segments of society as critical actors in the process of decision-making, change will not be sustainable. Governance, whether in the realm of the family, at work, or in government, is the act of distilling the cumulative knowledge, expertise, and insight of the collective for the common good. It begins with living a democratic life at the foundational level of the family. It begins with the child living a democratic life.